it's Paul Ryan. First off, welcome to all of you new listeners. Hope you enjoy these shows. Today we're going to talk about AI in music, so please bear with me. This is going to be a long one. Many industry executives and experts have weighed in on AI, and it's really still relatively new. So its ultimate involvement and the role that it will play in music, not really clear just yet. We've got some inklings. I think the usage of AI will probably come down to three separate areas. Those three would be production, marketing, which would include promotional activities, maybe even distribution, and the third one, content creation. So first off, production. Looking at the production area, AI can be used particularly in the areas of mixing and mastering. AI plugins can analyze tracks and determine which elements need to be adjusted, such as volume levels, EQ, settings, things like that. This can save producers a lot of time and should make the production process more efficient. And mastering a full song from start to finish today can take a long time, hours, maybe even days, depending on the complexities of the music. There's an online resource already in place called LANDR, L-A-N-D-R. With LANDR, musicians and producers can upload their songs and receive professionally mastered versions within minutes. The platform applies to a combination of EQ, compression, stereo enhancement, and other processing techniques that optimize the sound and make it more polished and balanced. There are other AI entries in this area as well. iZotope uses AI in some of their plugins to facilitate mixing and mastering. And products like Nektar, Neutron, Ozone, they use the new technology to help producers and engineers speed up their workflow. So summarizing on the production area and AI, is it going to be equal or better to than a live hands-on production house or producer? Well, who knows? We're still early, like I said. I'm going to stay with my current producer though for now. Just not sure that a machine is able to deliver all those little nuances and touches that he brings to a track. Mastering might be another story, I'm not sure. I could be wrong here, but we shall see. So for now, I'm going to punt. Might be beneficial to producers and mixers themselves. Second major area where AI will enter into the music arena, marketing, promotion, and distribution. Music industry promotion is another area which artificial intelligence in music might be able to streamline processes. With AI-powered tools, the theory is that it'll allow artists to reach prospective fans more efficiently. One area where it seems plausible to use AI is with their algorithms to identify target audiences. Boy, if it provided big numbers and groups of people that would naturally gravitate to your content, now that would be a huge plus, says someone who spends quite a lot of time developing databases. AI is also advertised as being able to create tailored content and messaging and schedule postings for optimal reach. Not sure about that one. Like the production area, the human touch when creating an ad or promotional message, I think that's going to be hard to beat. I could be wrong. The visual certainly, but I don't know, those little touches that a person can bring to it, a creative person, not sure AI can do that. We shall see. AI-based tools will be able to analyze social media data to identify fans and potential fans, target ads and promotions more effectively. A bit like the identification of target audiences, right? To me, that's all good. When you are collecting databases, it's work that it really is drudgery and all behind the scenes stuff. So if AI can save time there and doesn't just add up to a pile of, in the spam folder, I'll have another look at that. On the distribution of music, DSPs already allow the artist to upload all kinds of information about a track or album. And when you type in the genre, the region, or sounds like, it will presumably be funneled to music fans with those interests. Maybe I'm missing something there, but not sure what AI can do that's not already being done by the DSPs. The third main area for AI involvement would be content creation. I saved this one for last because I think this one's causing the most discussion. Production and even creating marketing campaigns, that's one thing. Maybe it's got roles there, not sure. But content creation, this is where a lot of the discussion of AI in music raises hackles of some people, and other people just think it's wonderful. With AI, companies or individuals are able to develop an original song recording by replicating elements and traits of an artist, and this has raised some ethical concerns. For example, some people argue that AI-generated music could displace human composers and musicians, putting us all out of work. I don't know. A lot of these issues will likely be settled in court. Next week, I'm going to talk about the Beatles and their AI case. Legally, AI music is still a gray area, and it raises the question of whether there can be a compromise where artists are credited, compensated, and consent to having their work or likeness used in AI. To a certain extent, art is a derivative of other art, and in this current moment, it's kind of blurry what's inspiration and what's stealing, what's theft. Every chord that you use in a song, every transition, the measures that you use, that's been used before. So, like I said, it's kind of a gray area still. In May 2023, the Universal Music Group urged streaming services to block the use of AI-generated music. Spotify responded by taking down 7% of AI-generated music on its platform, which equates still to tens of thousands of songs. Then in July 2023, Universal called on Congress to enact a nationwide policy to protect creators from AI copyright infringement. The record label is one of 40 participants to join the Human Artistry Campaign. It's an organization advocating for responsible use of AI in music. Aside from the legal, there's also a fear that it will be a sameness that permeates all music. Okay, albeit, why is that a bad thing? And if it's true, then the human-created material would stand out, right? It'd be the dominant streaming choice, right? So I'm not sure that's a bad thing. Maybe I'm missing the point. But finally, one element of AI is being viewed as positive in some songwriter blogs and vehicles. This is whereby the songwriter or artist themselves can tap into AI to speed up the process of creating music through AI music generators that use algorithms to analyze existing music and create new compositions based on the analysis and the algorithm. That means that an artist can create entire tracks using AI-generated music. My guess, I don't think songwriters are going to use that. Maybe some novice people, I don't know. I don't think a lot of us would use AI to create tracks. After all, that's half the fun. Making music. But what it can do maybe is save time during the songwriting phase, maybe by showing an artist how different sounds might work together. Remember one of our shows talked about embellishments, little add-ons to a song, hooks. Now that would be totally cool if it was just sort of an add-on tool. If AI is able to do that, for one, I'd take a look at it. You can spend hours and take a long time looking at that magic combination of chords and harmonies or the ideal instrument to feature during a break and exactly what to do with it. So one area I've not seen discussed before is for AI much at all is in the realm of music practice. In other words, practicing an instrument. There might be a ton of applications there, but maybe it's just because I should really practice more. I'm not sure. But can you imagine if you're practicing, say, guitar and you're trying to do up the neck stuff and you're following an AI program that's already structured based on experts that can play the guitar? I don't know. I think that might have some legs. Okay, next week I'm going to go further into AI, this time from the music consumer perspective. This week's song is an instrumental, How Great Thou Art. What a classic. Although it's a very old Swedish tune, I've always enjoyed the way Rob Ickes arranged and played How Great Thou Art as an instrumental version. Here it comes. Hope you enjoy it.
And now, here is this week's episode of The Musical Life of Freddie Spaghetti.
During our last installment of The Musical Life of Freddie Spaghetti, Freddie realized that he's experiencing a growing internal conflict. He enjoys the touring and the music. He loves it. But increasingly, he also wants to be back home with friends and family. He also spoke with Bob Hackett, who's been fighting cancer, and he's got growing money issues. After the Hackett call, Freddie decides that during his very next break, he's got to speak to somebody. Maybe Rob? No, heck no. No empathy there. Delta has just released a new single called Talking Man, and that's the last thing they need is a temperamental artist. They got enough of those. What about Sam? Nah, this is something way different than anything he'd ever faced back in his day. When the break finally arrives, Freddie's first stop is with Hackett. The phone call was still ringing in Freddie's ears, and when they met, Bob had moved his family back to his Cherry Creek music apartment. But there was some good news. Hackett's treatment seemed to be working, and so far he'd been doing very well. He'd even done a couple of shows at a small coffee house in the nearby town of Leon. Freddie felt relieved that things were looking up for his friend, but he still feels lost regarding his own issues. After one show a couple of weeks earlier, Freddie broke out in a cold sweat. He was in his dressing room, nobody around, and he was packing up, and then suddenly his head began to swirl. He felt faint and dizzy. He wanted to just lie down on the floor, which he did. He noticed his face was becoming wet and cold. His shirt was soaking wet. Whatever this was, it needs attention now.
On behalf of Paul and Ryan Tunes, thank you for listening to this week's Sound Threads. Please check us out next week for another round of Sound Threads.